What if I told you that some books have a hidden conversation happening right there on their own pages? A whole secret network of ideas all woven together, just waiting for someone to unlock it. Well, today, we're going to find the key.
I mean, think about it. When you read a book, are you just following the words from the first page to the last? Or do you ever get that feeling that there's something more going on, like ideas are talking to each other across chapters, maybe even across centuries?
Well, imagine a book that has its own internal internet. Seriously, not with links you can click, but with this amazing built-in system of connections that guides you from one thought to the next. That system is totally real, and it's pretty much the original hyperlink.
So, we're going to focus on one of the most interconnected texts in history, the Bible. We're going to explore this incredible hidden network and learn exactly how you can navigate it to get a much, much richer understanding of what you're reading.
So what in the world is a cross-reference? It's really simple. It's just a little note that points you to another part of the text. Think of it like a signpost from the author, basically saying, hey, you see this idea you're reading right now? Yeah? It connects to something way over here. It's a way for the book to explain itself.
Okay, so where are these powerful little notes hiding? Well, the cool thing is they're usually right there in plain sight. That is, if you know what you're looking for. You'll often find them just kind of tucked away in the margins of the page.
In most Bibles, you'll see these references in a few different places. Sometimes in the margins, sometimes at the very bottom of the page, or even in a skinny column running right down the middle. Just keep an eye out for a tiny little letter or a number next to a word or a phrase. That's it. That's your hyperlink to a deeper connection.
All right, this is where it gets fun. Let's actually see this in action. We're going to follow our first clue and watch how one single cross-reference can completely change how we see a really well-known verse.
So here we go. We've got a super famous passage from the New Testament, Matthew 5:14. Jesus is telling his followers, you are the light of the world, right? It's this inspiring call to action, this command to go out and shine brightly.
But that brings up a really important question, doesn't it? If we're supposed to be this light, where does that light actually come from? Is it something we're just supposed to, generate ourselves? Well, let's check the cross-reference and find out. And here it is. The little note next to Matthew 5:14 points us over to John 8:12. Now, in Matthew, the instruction is to be the light, but the cross-reference in John totally reveals the source. It's where Jesus says, I am the light of the world. All of a sudden, the meaning just expands. The light we're supposed to have isn't our own. It's a reflection.
Okay, so that was a pretty direct link, but these connections can get way more complex. They can span centuries. Cross-references get really powerful when a writer in the New Testament just assumes their readers already know a story from the Old Testament. Let's look at one of those.
So check out this passage from 2 Corinthians. The author Paul is making this really detailed argument, and he mentions, almost as a side note, that the ancient Israelites couldn't even look at Moses' face because it was literally shining with glory after he got the law on stone tablets.
Now, if you don't know the original story, you kind of just have to take Paul's word for it. And you're left there wondering, wait, why was his face shining? And what's that got to do with anything? The cross-reference is our key.
And boom, here's the reveal. That little reference takes us all the way back to the book of Exodus, and there it is, the original story. It tells us Moses' face was radiant because he had been speaking with God. Paul wasn't just being poetic, he was tapping into this huge foundational event that his original audience would have known by heart.
And this is the crucial point, right? Checking that reference didn't just give us a cool fact. It gave us the entire context. It unlocked the full narrative that Paul was building his whole argument on. It lets us in on the conversation.
But like any powerful tool, this isn't just about connecting random dots. It takes a little bit of skill. You can't just follow these links blindly. The biblical scholar Dr. Jacob Cherian suggests two key principles we need to keep in mind to do this right.
Okay, so first he says we have to think horizontally. That just means comparing similar stories side by side. Ask yourself, why would one author include a detail that another one leaves out? Context is absolutely everything. And second, we have to think vertically, that is, through time. We have to remember there are two timelines here, when the event actually happened, and then, often much later, when the author was writing about it. You gotta consider both.
So let's pull all of this together. Why should you even bother with these tiny little numbers in the margins? What's the real payoff for becoming this kind of textual detective?
Well, the value is just immense. For starters, it lets the Bible become its own commentary. It takes a single verse and just explodes its meaning by connecting it to this bigger web of ideas. It really does reveal this incredible conversation happening between dozens of authors across hundreds and hundreds of years. And maybe most importantly, it changes how we read. We're not just passive consumers of words anymore. We become active investigators, piecing together clues and discovering these amazing connections for ourselves.
And you know, this isn't just about one book. It's a whole new mindset for reading, really. So the next time you're tackling any complex text, just ask yourself, what are the hidden connections here? What conversations are happening just beneath the surface, waiting for an investigator just like you to come along and find them?